Robert Ni Ade Clegg. Now, Ni Ade Clegg was on radio many years ago when I was in GSS or even earlier. He's a media practitioner, but also a lawyer practicing both in Ghana and the United States of America. Ni, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Omar, thank you very much for having me.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right. I'm sure you are fine too.
I'm doing good. This news that we are reading tonight, so Agyapong spokesperson has just explained to us that it is not necessarily a reduction of the award, but it still sounds like a big deal that someone takes a case of defamation to court, wins, and then we are told the person has been given an award of $18 million, and then suddenly it reduces to $500. Does it mean defamation as we know it here in Ghana is different from what pertains in America, where you have knowledge of their workings, the legal workings?
Okay, I'm sorry I did not hear the gentleman, the respected gentleman you spoke with before you called me, and then you're saying something to the effect that it's not necessarily a reduction. I wish I'd heard that for myself. But let me explain this to the extent that I understand it. I think that we all know what happened without belaboring it. This was a matter that went before a jury. And let's say that clearly so that people understand it. Because in Ghana, generally, when there's a civil matter, it is not a crime per se. It's not a crime. It's not something that you are being prosecuted for, but somebody sues you. It's a civil court. We normally never see a jury in Ghana. So maybe that is the first point of call for clarification.
In clarifying, so it means that in the U.S., defamation is treated as criminal?
No.
Okay. Please.
Don't get that wrong.
Okay.
I'm saying that it's a civil matter. So you see, that is the clarification I'm seeking to do. Because you had a jury, you're probably thinking criminal. That's what I'm saying, that you can have a jury in a civil trial in the U.S. So let's understand that. That in the last case with Honorable Agyapong, there was a jury involved, even if it is a civil matter, because it's not completely over. That is clear. Not a jury. The jury, of course, works upon instruction and direction, and the jury comes to a certain conclusion. The jury came to the conclusion, based on the facts that we have, that there had been defamation by Honorable Kennedy Agyapong against Anasa Iliana, and therefore he had been found culpable. For which reason the jury thought that the award should be 18 million USD, which is what he should pay to Anas. We are clear on that. What may not be too clear to people is that in that system, there is something also. So please, the first one is clear to you. We can have a jury in a civil matter. That is what we have in this matter. Level 2. Once the jury comes to that conclusion, whatever conclusion they come to, there are two things that may happen. There's something called an additor or a remitter. Remitter, if you look at the spelling, looks like remitter, but it's normally just pronounced remitter. The person who wins may go back to the court and say, we've had the jury, but based on A, B, C, or D reasons, we think that you, the judge, should review the quantum of award and give me more. So additor. The one who loses also may go to court and say, remitter, reduce the amount. Why? Because it is excessive, it shocks the conscience of the regular person, things like that. From the fact that we have, it sounds as if Honorable Kennedy Agyapong has taken the route of a remitter. So the judge then is not going to determine whether there is defamation or not. That has been determined by the jury. However, the quantum, the amount, in this particular instance, 18 million US dollars, was now before the judge to determine whether that shocks the conscience, that is excessive, for which he could look at the figure. So the report we have today is that after doing that review, the judge, Beecham, I believe his name is, said that 18 million is excessive, and therefore I'm awarding $500. That is the issue. What we have before us is that, yes, the defamation stands. The amount being given to this man is too much based on the evidence before the court, and for which reason we think that, yes, there was defamation. However, $18 million is not what must be paid. To me, it's $500 that must be paid. I know that there's such a wide gap, and that's why it's making the news. But I believe that this clarifies the issues for us. Jury came to a conclusion. Jury gave an award. Remit it was called for by Kennedy. It goes to the judge. He does a review and comes to the conclusion that $18 million is too much. And for him, $500 is what should be awarded. That's where we are as of today. But I hope that's clear.
Yes, very clear. It's a very wide gap. In fact, I decided to go on my calculator and punch 18 million minus $500, and it's 17,999,500. I mean, it's like the reduction. it's right. Huge. But let's look at the reason for awarding cost against persons in a case like this one. It is supposed to, deter other people from engaging in defamation in the future. Is that correct?
That could be just a strand.
Okay.
Normally, and it is not wrong, so it is correct. Okay, but I'm saying that is not the be all.
So it's one of many. It's one of many other reasons.
Absolutely. Great. The idea behind it is that reputation is always hard earned, and when you say certain things against a person, Umaru Sanda says something against me, Adekle, or vice versa, and Umaru doesn't like what I say, and what I say perhaps actually lowers your esteem in the eyes of the right thinking members of society, as we say in Ghana. Things like that. You want to go to court and restore your reputation, right? You want the court to, one, say that what I said was not correct, it's either untrue, or it lowers your esteem in society, it destroys your image amongst your peers, it makes people disrespect you, it makes people have a bad opinion of you, things like that. It may affect your work, your business, everything else that you do. So for that reason, you go to court. The court should also, your injury has been caused to you. So normally the idea is that if I am found guilty, then of course there's injury that is caused. So you are trying to say in local parlance, you're patao, so to speak, so that we will give you this amount of money. It cannot obliterate all the harm done to you, but at least it restores something to you. It also comes as an alarm to others to say, like you're saying, don't go defaming people, slandering people, whatever it is that you do, because it's not like to court you may be sanctioned for it and all of that. So it's a way of meeting all those things and to keep society in check and to prevent people from publishing untruths about others or destroying their image, or destroying hard-won reputation, things like that.
So I was actually going to use that as a basis to say, would you say this was deterrent enough? And I'm referring to the $500. So that if you went through that whole long process of litigation and you are being given $500 in Ghana, maybe that would be what? Now the exchange rate is a bit tricky, but I mean, considering how much we see our courts here award, is this a regular thing to see, defamation awards being reduced so low in the US? Is that exclusive to the US, or it could even happen here in Ghana too, where someone could take a case of defamation to court, and when they win, they are asked to be paid about 10,000 or 15,000 cedis?
Yes, it is not cut and dry. I can't say that when you defame me, it will cost you 10 cedis or 20 cedis or a million cedis. It's not something that you can do. That is why it's a matter of evidence. And that we must also look. That is why, and again, that's why the distinction I try to set out immediately. In such a matter in Ghana, the judge is the be all and end all. The judge looks at it, it's a no matter, and there's no jury involved, and all there's no criminality and all that. So that's one matter. The judge will look and make a determination. $500, well, I'm not very sure that anybody will be awarded that kind of amount. But don't forget that there is a lot of discretion in it. There's a lot of looking at the quantum. We are looking at the image that we say has been destroyed. What was the extent of it? What harm has been caused you? What is the community of interest that has been affected? This matter went to a New Jersey court, county court. Don't forget that it happened in New Jersey. Some issue, somebody said certain things against and us over there. The judge is going to look at the totality of all of that. He's going to look at the nature of the harm. He's now making a determination after the jury had decided on what it cost. Did the judge then say, okay, these are Ghanaians generally, they are not living in this country, the people who are hearing about this, are they here or not? I'm just, looking at the possibility. But as a matter of fact, I am not able to tell you that A equals B. Defamation, you pay 10 cedis. When you do this, you pay 5. It doesn't work that way. That is why there's evidence. You have to look at it and come to a conclusion. And of course, that is why there is also the appeal process, where if you do not agree with what the court has said, the trial court, etc., you can keep going up. That is why in their system, the one before us, they look at the jury doing an award and a judge possibly reviewing it. If an is unhappy, he may go ahead, and all of that. So there's no hard and it's not cast in stone.
Okay.
And that way I can say, get kind of quantum. But you and I can agree that $500 maybe may shock everybody. But I'm sure Honorable Kennedy may laugh at it and may be happy about it. If he indeed puts in the remitter, which is what we hear, then it means that he himself is saying, okay, I'm cool with the defamation bit, but I don't have to pay so much. If he did, and of course, for this to come out, he must have. So to do that. Is the appeal process over? I don't think so. Will Anas like to take it up? Maybe. Is this case over? We can't tell. But for now, we just understand that they have a unique system where a judge is able to review what the jury said. And on that basis, if it's not, and I saw something that Anas posted. I didn't see it on Facebook, but I've seen it being circulated on a WhatsApp platform on which I am.
Yeah.
Where he's saying that it's not so much about the money, but it's about the fact that he gets justice.
Which is actually where I was going to come to you to. So he issued a statement. He doesn't give any indication that he would be appealing this, and I do not think he intends to do so, because he says our victory is in the judgment and not the award. And that's what I was going to ask you as my final question. And I'm tapping into your cap as a journalist or a media practitioner. Would you say Anas has won the day, or Kennedy Agyapong has won the day? How do you view it as a media practitioner who has been behind the console and has always been insisting that professionalism should be the case? And because of the judgment now, we can say that the former MP was not professional in his conduct. That's why he was found liable of defamation. Would you say that Anas has won or the former MP has won, in your estimation?
Well, it is not a matter of estimation, and it is also not a matter of media practice. It's a legal question, some places are. And the legal conclusion is that it is Anas who went to court and to say Honorable Kennedy Agyapong has defamed me. In the end, what was done? The conclusion clearly from the jury is that Honorable Kennedy Agyapong has defamed Anas Aribiana. That one is not open to debate. That is the conclusion of the court, and that was what the jury said. When the judge came in to review based on the remitter, he came with a firm conclusion that says that I don't support the quantum. I reduce the quantum to X amount because there has been defamation, but I think that's what you need is $500. It goes, whichever number is there. So far, based on what we have, subject to further appeal, Honorable Kennedy Agyapong is deemed by the court of law to have defamed Anas Aribiana. It's as simple as that. I mean, anybody can twist or spin or say whatever they want. The truth of the matter is that is the conclusion we have before us for the moment. Did Anas win his case? He won his case. Why? He sued. And did he get? They say he did. Did he get big money? No. Or yes, in the first instance. Or the second one, the judge came, he did it. Does that change the thing and say that the victor is Honorable Kennedy Agyapong? I don't think Honorable Kennedy Agyapong himself will stand anywhere and say he won. All I can hear him say maybe is that I didn't pay much if it ends at $500. So I think that issue is not really left to people's personal opinion. It's a matter of what factually occurred.
Very well.
And we cannot debate that.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too. That's Robert Niade Clerk.